completing your engineering, or if you're not from engineering background but wanted to pursue into engineering field. So this is for everybody. You need not know anything about coding or technology, because everything will be covered in this course. And we will start from basic, and then we will move to the intermediate and advanced level. And we will also see multiple projects. So while learning new concepts in Python, we will implement them in the form of project, a mini project, and we will so that's how we learn Python here. And so that's all I want to tell about myself and the course. And I hope there was a link given in the group which has all the detail about the course content, like what all the topics will be covered by Isha Institute. Uh, so if someone doesn't have that course link, please let me know. I will provide you that. So let me try to open it. I don't know if I have them handy. So this is a link, this is a page where all the details about the Python course is given, like what all will be covered and what you will be learning in this 30-day Python course. And it also has a detailed course syllabus, like what all the topics will be covered and subtopics. So I have pinged the link over the message here in GoToMeeting. So if in case you don't have the link, you can access from here and check the course content. So I hope you don't have any doubts in course or course content. Let me dive directly into the course. So the first thing is you have to understand what is Python. So Python is a high level programming language. There are some low level programming language as well. So this comes under high level programming language. To understand what is high level language, you should also understand what is low level language. So low level language is a machine language. It consists of binary code like zeros and ones. So, which computer CPU understands and execute. Every computer CPU understands only the binary code, zeros and ones, and it understands only that and execute based on the instruction given over binary code. So, whatever language is given written for the CPU to understand the operation is called low-level language. So, it's called kind of a mission instruction. We are instructing CPU what to do, and this actually like operating system. So if your operating system, either Windows or Linux or device driver, they are developed using low level language. They have not developed using Java, Python, any high level language. They are developed using only the assembly and low level languages. So now let's come back to high level language. High level language is nothing but a programming language that is abstracted from the underlying machine level operation. For example, if you are writing your code in Java, Python, or C++, it will uh, it will tell CPU to do something. So it will go and interact with the low level language, and then CPU will execute it. So we need not worry about low level language. You need not know anything about low level language or how the CPU works. You just have to write your code in high level language that remaining are taken care by the system. So to uh, Ramkutu, could you go on mute, please? Okay,
Ramkoti, please
thank
go on.
you. Okay. So now, so this is a high level language which you have to write for to develop a website or mobile app or any data analysis, something like that. To develop an application, you have to write programming in high level languages. So these are all done by high level language. But operating system, device driver, they are developed using low level language. So this is the difference between high level and low level. You have to understand right now. That's all. You need not know anything further in detail. So this Python, Java, JavaScript, Swift, everything comes under high level language. And what is high level language? Let's see the characteristics of high level language. So high level language, if you ask somebody what is the characteristics of high level language, they will give at least these five, which is common for all the high level languages. One is abstractions. Abstraction is like it's an interface which allows programmer to work on high level language without worrying anything about the low level implementation. You need not know how the CP is going to execute it, or you need not know what is a low level language and how it is going to communicate with my high level language. You need not know anything about that. You just have to write your code and make sure it is compiling and executing. The remaining will be taken care by the system. And this is called abstraction. The next one is readability. So it's all the high level languages are written in natural language only, like English. Most of the words in the high level language, keywords, everything are in English, and they have some meaning to it. That's all. It is so since it is in a natural language, you can easily understand it. And it is also the another characteristic, portability. So, when you write a program and run in Windows, for example, you are writing your code in Windows operating system and you are executing it, it would work fine. Still, what you can do, you can copy the code and execute the same code in Mac. Mac in the sense Apple products, MacBook Air or MacBook Pro, or you can execute in Linux also, because Mac use Mac OS. All the Apple product use Mac OS, and all the Windows use Windows OS, and Linux machine use Linux. The operating system differs here, but still you need not worry about. You need not write anything or modify anything so that it should accommodate Linux and Mac OS. It you whatever you write in Windows can be run in other operating system as well. We need not worry about that. And this is called portability. And the next one is rich. The whole high level languages comes with rich libraries. So library is nothing bad. Like it already, for example, you are writing a code to add two numbers, for example. So you are writing a code to add two numbers, and that code is saved into the library. What I can do, I need not, if the code is already available in the library, I need not write again the same functionality to add two numbers. I just call the method or class. So I'll cover what is method class in detail later. You need not worry about them. But uh, for example, I'm explaining. So I just have to call the method written for adding function. I just have to call that name. A name should be a name will be given by you who are written that program for adding two numbers. I just have to call that name and give the parameters. Parameters means what all the numbers I have to add. what are those two numbers or three numbers, that number I have to do, then it will automatically run that functionality. I need not write again the same code. So this is, for example, I've said for add, but it library has all the um, complex task. So most of the complex tasks are written as a code, and it is kept inside library. You just have to go and use them. So they are like pre-built functionality. The functionality was already built for various tasks, and this will save the programmer's time and effort. So they know what all the common thing which all the programmer worldwide is going to use. Those common functionalities are written and saved. You just have to call that library method and the work will be taken care. You need not write it again. And this comes under the libraries. And the next functionality, the characteristics of high level language is memory management. So high level language usually handle memory management automatically, reducing the risk of any memory related bug or memory leak. So you need not do anything in your code much to handle the memory. So if you didn't understand any of the characteristics of the high level language which I mentioned now, that's okay. Do not worry. You will understand as we slowly explore Python. So when it comes to Python, this language, it has every language has multiple version. So this Python was developed, and slowly every now and then they release a new version. So whenever they feel that something is having issue, some functionality is having some bug, or they wanted to improvise the functionality, they add those functionalities and release in a newer version. So like that, Python was from Python 1.0, it now moved to Python 3. There was a multiple version like 1.0, 1.1, 1.2. Similarly, it went from 1 to 3. So few years back, I was writing all my code in Python 2. That time Python 3 was not there. So I have written all the code in Python, and later there come a newer version of Python 3. So like 2008 or something, they have written Python, the initial version. And the author, he's called Guido van Rossum. He's the author of Python. So he was not happy about some of the really important architecture, so he written the Python again. So he written Python and he releases as Python 3. So the main problem between Python 2 and Python 3 is the code. Some of the code which is written in Python 2 will not be supported by Python 3. For example, Python 3 has some newer functionality. Example, new library was added. So I wanted to use that library because it has most of the complex functionality. Like it would be easy for me to use them. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to change the code, and I'm going to use it. So to do that, I have to update the Python version in my system. When I update it to Python 3, what happens is some of the functionalities which is written in Python 2 is changed. So what happens, whatever was written in Python 2 was not supported. Few functions were not supported in Python 3. The Python 3 doesn't know what that functionality is. So I have to update them, rewrite them. So it was a trouble little. So few years we were like discussing whether we really have to move to Python 3, because I have to, some part of the code has to be rewritten from the scratch. It's like a extra work for us. So for few years we didn't decide to go to Python 3. Then slowly we started changing the things so that it supports Python 3. So this is called backward compatibility. Python 2 and Python 3 are not backward compatibility. So this is not the case with other programming language. For example, if some code is written in JavaScript, I have written 5 years back, and many versions have been released after that. If you run it now, even with the newer version, there won't be any problem. You need not do any changes. It it would be using the newer versions also. It would be using some functionalities of the newer version of JavaScript, but I need not change any of my code. So that was the case with other programming language. Only with the Python, it was opposite. Application built on Python 2, their code, their library, everything they had done till now would not work in Python 3, and they have to write their code again. So now currently Python 3 is very common. So if some application is going to use Python language to develop some functionality, they are directly going and using Python 3. They need not worry about the difference between Python 2 and 3, because they'll be writing everything in Python 3 and it would work. You need not actually, if you're writing in Python 3, you need not go back to Python 2, because Python 3 has all the functionalities of Python 2 plus additional features. So nobody who is writing in 3 would go back to 2, but people started writing in 2 would slowly change it to 3, and a new developers who are going to write a new Python program now will definitely go to 3. They will not be using 2 unless until you are placed in some company and that company has Python 2, and still they have not moved to Python 3. This is a rare case, because few years back it was a case like most of the companies were using Python 2, they were not ready to move to Python 3. But now most of them were moved to Python 3. So in rare case they have Python 2 and they have not moved to Python 3, in that case you would be writing in Python 2. Otherwise you would be directly going to you would be like writing in Python 3 only. So I wanted to show the key differences, like, so this is a blog, and they have written all the difference between Python 2.7.x to 3.x. So for example, let's consider print function. I know you guys will have no idea what is print. That's okay, but I just wanted to tell what is the difference. Here, for example, in Python 2, how the print was written is print and space, and they have given Python in the single quotes. So if this code, no, this will not work in Python 3. So this Python 3, how they have written is print, open bracket, and then close bracket. So without open and close bracket, the Python 3 will not understand what the print is. If this code is executed in Python 3 version, it would throw an error. So people who have written like this in Python 2, what they have to do is they have to add brackets so that it will be supported in Python 3. So similarly, there were multiple differences. So if you are using handling exception, it would differ a little between Python 2 and 3. So here this page has all the details of key differences of Python 2 and 3. So if you are going to work in migration like Python 2 to 3, you should know what all the difference between 2 and 3. If this print is written, then you can follow the instruction given here. You just have to implement them in your Python code so that it will be compatible for Python 3. I'll ping this link here. So this is kind of nothing but a software update in your mobile. Most often you would have seen there, if you are using Android, There might be an Android version update, and in Windows also we might see some version updates. Usually what happen whenever there is an update in Windows, we have to update it and we have to click on the button update. It will take care of everything, and then we have to restart it. Similarly, the same thing is with the programming language. So they are always enhanced and they are always changed. The every programming language there will be a few enhancement in the sense they add additional functionality and uh, m- make the existing functionality to support more. So it is always changed and enhanced. New features gets added, and it's a constantly a process of growing. But only with this Python 2 and through 3, we have this issue like we have to update few parts of the code. Otherwise, it doesn't affect us. So, what is backward compatibility? I have discussed that. For example, JavaScript, which is written in a different version, will also support in other version. You just have to change the version you use in your system. That is the JavaScript version you have to update, but you need not touch any part of your written code. So that's not the case with Python. So like so this is the difference between Python 2 and 3, and here I'll be covering only Python 3. Python 2 will not be covered. So whatever code I write in this course, in the sessions, I'll be writing everything in Python 3 because moreover everybody in this world are using Python 3. Using Python 2 is a very rare case, and the concept will be same, only the syntax you use between the two version will be a little different. If at all you have to go and modify something in Python 2, only the syntax will differ. Otherwise, whatever you learn, the concept about the programming language, about how we develop, everything will be same. So I'll directly go into Python. So today I'll be covering numbers, integer and float. So every programming language, there is a concept called numbers, integer, and float. These are called data types. So so before that, we have to install Python in your system. I hope, I mean, you just have to go to a page called, you just have to write download Python and python.org. Here you can click on this download Python and it will ask for which operating system, Windows or Linux or Mac. You just have to click on which operating system you're using. Mostly it would be Windows and Mac OS, right? So you can choose this and then you can click download. It will download and it will try to install it. Once it's installed, you can check the version. I mean, you can check whether here I don't have in MacBook. So whenever after you download it and install that, you just have to write Python space hyphen hyphen version. It will tell the version. It means Python is installed in your system. So that if Python is installed in your system, you can write the Python script and you can execute it. Your system can compile it and execute it. And so this is how you have to download Python and install. I hope you people can do it on your own. So you can go and try downloading Python. If at all face any issue, let me know. In tomorrow session, I will cover how to download. I'll fix if any issue which was faced by anybody. And apart from Python, I use VS Code editor. So this is nothing but a kind of an app which is used to write your code. I'll see if I have VS Code in my Mac. Okay, I don't have. So it's kind of it looks like the screen will look like this. IDE means it's a app which we use to write our programming languages. So you just have to download it and install. If you're using Windows, then you have to go and download Windows version. You just have to download and install it, and we can write our code and we can execute. So please download Python and VS Code. Since I don't have Python or VS Code in my Mac laptop, what I'm doing is I'm opening some online editor. So this is an online editor where you can write your code. So VS Code is an app you install in your local. You have to open the app like how you open your Microsoft Word. Similarly, you have to open that app and you have to write your code and execute. For that, you should have Python in your local, in your system. But since I don't have both in this particular laptop which I'm using now, I'm just opening Replit. So you just have to go and open replit.com, and so a page appears. I have clicked right, create a new code. So main.py. So it has given a name called main.py. So all the Python code ends with the extension called .py. We save it with .py. This is how the Python code is saved. So it created one file. Here I can write my code and I can execute it. Okay. So I have to write it here and then I can run here. Here the output will be displayed. Now we'll see what is numbers in Python. So numbers, we in real world, numbers is nothing but one, two, three, whatever number we use, we call it numbers. And but in programming language, it falls under either integer or float. There are other data types as well for numbers, but these two are the commonly used one. In either the number comes under integer category or float category. So what is integer? What is the difference between integer and float? So integers are all natural numbers like 4, 5, or -10. So all the numbers which are greater than 0 or less than 0 both falls under integer. But float is float as 6.1 or 0.0 or 0.333. So if there is a decimal point, so this point is called decimal point. If there is a decimal point and there are some number after the decimal point, even it might be 0. So after decimal point, you just have 0, but still it's called considered as float. So this is a difference between integer and float. Um, But in real world, you might think these all are numbers. There is no category like integer or float. Whatever you write number with, either with decimal point or without, it is called float. But with programming language, it differs a little because why it differs between with decimal point and without decimal point is because memory than 4.3. So if we tell the programming language that whatever I'm going to write, the number is in float, then it will allocate memory in that way, based on that. So it's good that we tell them like float and integer so that they take care of the memory handling part on its own. So to save space, we have to give integer if in case you want to have integer. But in some cases, you will need all the decimal numbers. In that case, you have to mention float. So here we see a number called 0.3333. So like Python will not store infinite number after decimal. It will store few digits after decimal, but still it takes extra space. So if you need four digits, you have to directly give the number with four digits after 0.333. So it will be saved in that way. And even if you do some process like you add some number to this number, still it has all the four digits with it. So you have to clearly mention how many digits you need followed by a decimal point. There is also called one more complex data type in number, which is called long. But in real world, we don't use it actually. It's a very rare scenario we use it. So you need not worry about long. Only if you know integer and float, you can handle everything in Python for numbers. So the two important things are only integer and float. And float is nothing but called floating point. This point is called floating point. So that's how the name was given as float to this data type. So it's all comes down to space. Only because of the space we have two different data types. And mm, so integer you have seen this is either positive or it is negative, and it can be more than 0 or less than 0. Similarly, float is also positive and it can also save negative. Mm, but only the difference is decimal point. Even if it is 0 after dot, it is considered float. So give me a minute. I'll connect to my Windows system because I want to execute and show some code. So Sai, you asked me about installing, right? Let me,
Yes.
yeah, let me show you that. So here I'm choosing Windows, and okay, you guys can see my web page, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here I have opened python.download, and here have chosen Windows, and it says stable releases. So this is Python 3.1 and it says it cannot be used on Windows 7 or earlier. If you're using if you're using more than Windows 7, like Windows 8 or Windows 10, you can go with this link. Um, I hope you're using the later version, like more than Windows 7. So I have
Yeah.
gone for that, and So I just clicked on this link. Let me give you this link. So after opening this link, I just clicked on this gzip so star ball and it got downloaded. I just have to open this and unzip and I just have to install it. But it is actually going to create a problem because this is Mac OS, but this is Windows 1. So after you unzip, it automatically unzips and you just have to open and so since it is different here, like Windows and OS, it's not installing on its own. Otherwise, it would ask whether you have to install. You just have to click install, and it will directly try to install everything in your system. Hmm, I don't think I can show it today now. You can try in downloading this particular link and install it. If you face any issue, then I can guide you over screen share. I will guide you over Windows system. Okay, so now I logged into my Windows machine. So Python is already installed my Windows machine, so I cannot reinstall it. Please follow the link I've given. Just download it and click on install. It will take care of its own. But if you face any issue tomorrow, what I can do, I can uninstall my. So if anybody faces any issue with Python installation, please ping me over the group, WhatsApp group. I would prepare my system like I would uninstall all the Python and I can reinstall and show it tomorrow in tomorrow's session. So thank you, Sai. Um, so this system already, this is my Windows and it has Python already installed. So when I type Python space hyphen version, it shows the Python version. So I have Python 3.11. So it doesn't matter whether you have 3.10 or 3.11. After 3.xx, anything would be same only. So I have Python 3.1. And now I just want to show a small demo on this integer and float.
I think we can also use from Anaconda, right?
Sorry? Yeah. So the screen and wordings are visible, right? Or is it very small for you people to see?
It's good.
Yeah, okay. So here,
Can we use the Jupyter notebook online?
yeah, you can use Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook is mainly used for data analysis purpose. You can use Jupyter Notebook or you can use Replit, which is an online coding editor. And so there are multiple things available to write your Python code. You can use any of them, or you can directly write in your local. You can write in your Notepad plus plus or Notepad also. Notepad is also enough to write your code, and you just have to save it .py and execute it. Any medium you choose, it's I mean it's same only. It's up to you. Whichever editing software is comfortable for you, you can use it. If you've already used anything, you can go ahead with that. But in this course, I might be either using Notepad plus plus. I'll directly write the code there, or I'll be using VS Code. So if people who haven't used any of the IDE, you can download VS Code. You just have to download
Hey,
this.
would you be able to increase the font size maybe a little bit bigger,
Yeah.
please? Thank you.
Mhm. So this is a Visual Code Studio, that is VS Code. This is the IDE I'll be using in this course. So you guys can choose whatever IDE is comfortable for you. If you're not aware of any other IDE, you can just use this. So I installed VS Code for Windows, and let me try to increase the font size. Mm, so the problem is when I increase, even if I increase the font size here in this terminal, it is not increasing. What I will do is, okay, I I hope it's more. I mean, it's clear now. It's
Yes, it's
visible.
better.
Okay. Mhm,
Thank you.
okay. So
Yeah, now it's good to see.
okay, thank you. So the things what I have did is I have installed Python in my system and also VS Code. So after you install Python, you need not worry about that. But once you install VS Code, you have to open it. So my when I give VS Code, it gives me the name here. I just open it, and the application will get opened. And this is the screen what I'm sharing is a terminal. So it comes with all your Windows and Mac machine. I just have to type terminal, and it will be already available in your system, or command prompt, whatever is available. You can just open terminal and you will see this black screen. So after installing Python, I am just going to check. I mean, you have to check whether the version is, I mean, it shows any version, whether the Python is there in the system. And then I'm just going to write Python 3. I have some issue with my settings. Mm, okay, I'll fix it. I'll fix this, and tomorrow we'll see. I'll write some code and show you the difference between float and integer. Since it's almost 8:26, we can continue tomorrow. So the thing is, please try to download Python 3 and the VS Code. If you guys have any issue, just let me know in the group. So what I'll do, I'll uninstall everything in my system, and I'll have a steps created for it. Tomorrow we can download over screen share, and you can do
Um,
simultaneously. Mhm.
Sorry, man, to interrupt. Just
Mhm.
type Python and then it will go into the term. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now you can type nine.
Thank you. I have
Yeah.
we have done 3 year. Okay, that is a mistake.
Okay.
So since
Ma'am, is
Python
there
is
any WhatsApp group?
yeah, the group name is DNM 2023 Python. So how did you get this go to meeting link?
There is a group, right? I joined to the group. So they send the link over there.
Okay, so somebody was asking no whether there is a WhatsApp group. So I just want to know how that person joined GoToMeeting.
No, so whoever wants to demo, we connected to that WhatsApp group.
Okay. So who was that? Who was not aware of the group? Could you ping me your phone number here? I can add it to your I can add your number to the group. Shrikant, you couldn't see the screen, is it? Mm. Guys, reminding people, could you see my screen share? I have Windows
Yeah.
PowerShell open.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe Shrikant, what you can do is you can You can rejoin, but anyway, we are about to near to the end of the session. Okay, so yeah, if you rejoin, the problem will be resolved. But anyway, yeah, okay, please rejoin. Mm, so yeah, guys, if you are not inside the group and you want me to add you to the WhatsApp group, please ping your number here. I'll add it to I'll add to the WhatsApp group of Python. So yeah, so coming to this Python, I opened my Windows terminal. This application is already available in my Windows, and I have written Python. It is going into Python shell script. It is going inside the Python. So here I can write all my Python commands here. It will be considered as Python and it will execute. So here in this place, no, I haven't gone inside Python. So when I type I in bracket 9, the Windows couldn't identify what this is because it doesn't know what is type and the syntax it's not aware. But after going into Python, if I write like type of 9, it will tell it is int. Int means integer. So it is telling this is this type. The number 9 is of type integer. Let me try. So guys, tell me what would be this type?
Float.
Okay. So it says float. Let me do one thing. So what would be the type of this number? Please guess.
It float.
Okay. So yeah, again it's float because it has dot decimal point and after that any number whether it is zero or anything it is float. Mm, let me give type of. So it is float. And what is the type of this number? What would be the type of this number? Minus 10.
Int. Int.
Because it doesn't have any decimal, either it is positive or negative, it is integer. So it says integer, okay? I have one more question. I know I haven't covered that part, but I wanted you guys to guess. So, I want to add two number 1.0 plus 4, okay? So what would be this number? After addition, there would be some result, right? With what the result would be? Integer or float? What the result will be?
Float. Integer?
Okay.
Float.
Okay. Let's. Mm-hmm. Any other answer?
Integer?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see what the output is. So here the output is 5.0. You all know that 5.0 is float, right? Type of 5.0 would be float. So the concept here is in your expression, this is called expression because you're adding two number. Here, this is a value, and 4 is a value, and this plus is an operator. It's called operator. Okay, so tomorrow what I'll do in tomorrow's session, I'll install both Python and VS Code Sample. I'll do it over screen share. So initially, the start of the session, I'll install and show you. You don't worry about that. So when I do the installation, guys who doesn't have Python or VS Code, you can install parallelly in your system. We will fix it tomorrow. So yeah. So coming back to this, this is an expression. It has two values and one operator. So if either one of the value of this expression, either one is zero, then it is one is float, then the output is float. If both are float, and again the output would be float. Okay. So only if both are integer, the output would be integer. So 1 plus 5. So this is integer. But if one is because for example, I'm just adding 1.3 plus 4. So the output is 5.3. the output should have zero point 0.3 because for example, I'm doing some calculation. I want the precision, that I want exact value. I don't want Python to remove this zero point 0.3 and give me just 5. So Python always what it does, even if one of the expression has point decimal, it adds that value and shows that as a result. So the result is always in float if one of the value is in float. Okay. Mm, type of 5.3 is float. So this is float. Okay. So tomorrow we will see installation and also the map. This is an operation called addition, right? Plus there are some other operations in Python. We will cover that tomorrow and we will start coding tomorrow. So any doubts, guys? Any question, doubts? Okay, so if we are good, then we can wind up the session now.
Okay, thank you.
See you all tomorrow at 7:30. Bye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.